This is Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Hey B'siyata Deshmaya. We're holding in the bottom of Dalit Amud Beis, in the middle of the discussion. Yeshem LeMikra, Yeshem LeMesaira. Today's shir should be an incredible schos refuah shalema for Tinok ben Miriam Ahuva. B'siyata Deshmaya, the koyach HaTorah, the koyach of Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Each and every blot Gemara should bring Tinok ben Miriam Ahuva an incredible, complete, and quick refuah shalema b'siyata dishmaya. We are holding about 20 lines from the bottom of Dalit Amud Beis. The first one on the line is the Alma Mashma. We just finished saying that everyone holds yesh aim limikra, that everything goes by the way it is pronounced. I don't care the way that is written, it goes by the way that you say the word. Asks the Gemara, is that true? V'hatanya, but we learned in our rights, the taitavais, Harikan araba divrei Yishmael. So Yishmael says that's 4. How's it 4? Because one taitavais is spelled with a vav in plural. That's 2. 2 of them are spelled singular as another 2, and that's 4. So Yishmael clearly is not going by the way it is pronounced, not going by the mikra, but rather going by the Mesaira. Rav Akiva Eimer, no. Einai tzarech. Says Rav Akiva, we don't learn it out from the words taitafais. Why? Tat bekasvei bekaspi shtayim. Tat in the language of Kaspi is 2. Pas be'afraki shtayim. The word pas, tota fos, tough, pace off. So the tat is 2. The pas is 2, which is 4. But what do we see? Rabbi Yishmael clearly holds, Yishem L'Misaira. Not like the Kuliyama that we just suggested. Ella, rather, says the Gemara, you are correct. La'ilam Paligi. We pull 180 and says the Gemara, in reality, yes, is a machlokes. Whether Yeshem L'Mikra, whether Yeshem L'Misaira. But says the Gemara of Ani Miliki Peligi, and when do they argue? Heicha deshani kra mi misayres. Only when the pasuk is at odds with the written form. Aval hai chelev v'chalav d'chiyadadi nenu. Therefore, Yeshem L'Mikra. When the Mesaira and the Mikra are written in the same way, chelev chalav, then everyone agrees you go with the mikra, which of course is a very simple thing, misvara, to understand. But when there's a difference in the way that it's written, then there's a potential misaira, then we have a machlokes as we find by a l'taitavais. Ask the Gemara 1 second, v'reyira and yira'eh, tchiyadadinin, if both are spelled the same, and yet, upligi. So this breaks the answer. If they're both spelled the same way, then it should be similar to chelev and chalav. And as we just said, everyone should be in agreement that it goes by the Mesaira. Incorrect. Everyone should agree that it goes by the Mikra, the way that it reads. But ask the Gemara, we have Yira and Yira'eh, which both are written the same. And yet, what do we find in Tanya? Yechlan ben Davai, Omer Misham Rav Yehuda ben Tema. Hasuma be'echad me'inav. Pater me'ri'iyaz. Pater from the halach of Yira, which is to be oila regel. Shenemar, why says the Torah? Yira yira'eh. Kedar shabalira is the way you come to see. Kabalira is you have to be able to be seen. And therefore, Maliras b'shteinav, avlirois b'shteinav. So says the Gemara, Yehuda ben Tema. In as much as the word is said and is the same word, like chelev and chalav, yet he still holds that we do not necessarily go by the mikra. Rather, Elam Rav Yaakov Reid Ravika, 2 lines to the bottom, Amar Kra, Loisvashal Gedi, Derech Bishol Asra Taira. Says the Gemara, therefore, says the Gemara, what is the reason when it comes to Loisvashal Gedi that everyone agrees? Because clearly this cannot be something that is universal, as we don't find the same thing by Yira and Yira'eh. Says the Gemara for a different reason. And the reason is that when it comes to cooking meat and milk, it's derech bishul asra Torah, which of course could only apply when you are in milk. As the bottom Rashi spells out, derech bishul chalav salul kemayim vika bishul, aval chelav einoi bishul. Ella tigun. It's not going to be called bishul if you put a piece of meat in its fat. That's going to be called frying. So the fact that it has to be derech bishul concludes the Gemara. That is the reason why by loisvashal gedi everyone agrees, but it's not a global rule across the board. Tanu Rabbanan, we bring it back to the Mishnah. Dine Mamanis Bishleisha. The name of the parak, the beginning of the Mishnah. That when it comes to monetary cases, we need 3 dayanim. Says the Gemara, this is going to bring us back to our Daf Beis. But if the judge is a momche l'rabim, then we can even judge the case in a singular person. As the top Rashi speaks out, which really brings us back to Daf Beis. Over there, we had the thought process that maybe when it comes to all the dayanim, they need to be mumchim or not. Now says the Gemara, no, that if we have a judge who's a mumche, he on his own could judge the case. On the second line of Heyam Aleph, Amar Rav Nachman Ana, says Rav Nachman, like I judge cases by himself. So the Gemara is concluding that, and as much as the Mishnah began, the name of the parak is Dinei Mamanis B'Shleisha, that is not absolutely universal, but rather in the case of a mumche l'rabim, he could judge cases even on his own. Says the Gemara, a Shaila 4 lines down, no, what is the reason Rav Nachman Rav Chia? Why did they judge on their own? Is the reason the Gamirna? Is the reason that they have a lot of Taira and Visavirna, and they have a lot of analytics, Unekita Rishusa, and they had Rishus on the Rish Galusa, and that's why they judge on their own. Aval, however, Lo Nikita Rishusa, then Dine Loi Dina, then they're not able to judge a case. That's one side. Oidoma, maybe the reason is Avagav Delaina Kid Rishusa Diana Dine. So ask the Gemara, what is the Nikuda that allows Rav Nachman Rav Chia to judge cases on their own? Is it only because they are able to knowledge svara, or does it have to do with the fact that they are makabel rishos as well? Says the Gemara, Tashima de Marzucha Breder Rav Nachman Dana Dina Marzucha Breder Rav Nachman. Excuse me, we're about 10 lines down. The first one line is Berei Dan Dina. He judged the case on his own vita, and he made a mistake. Also, they came from Rav Yosef. Amar Lei, Rav Yosef said, Im kibeluyich alayu. If the 2 people in the Dinei Torah accepted you as the judge, Loi Sashlim, you don't have to pay and rectify the mistake that you made. V'loi, but if not, Zil Shlim, go and pay. So based off of this, says the Gemara, Shema Mina, what do we see? Mer Zutra in this case had nothing to do with the Reish Galusa. Shema Mina Kilonaki Rishusa Deyana Dina Shema Mina, that even without taking Rishus from the Reish Galusa, as long as the one person judging has the Yechailes, then he's able to judge the cases. Continues the Gemara, Amar Rav. 12 lines down, the first one line is Dina, says Amar Rav. Hi man, this person, the Ba'i Lemeidan Dina that wants to judge a case, Ita'a Mi Ba'i Lemiftara, if he wants to absolve himself from any issues, if he makes any of them, Lishkal Rishus Kalusa, then he should take Rishus. Meaning, we just concluded you don't need to, but if you want to pot to yourself, then you certainly should. Reish Galusa, you should take Rishus. Asks the Gemara Pshita. The following is Pashit. It is Pashit that if you have Rishus here in Bavel for Bavel Eretz, that makes sense as well. Similarly, if you get Rishus of Bavel with 4 Eretz Yisrael, it's also. But the Hacha Shevet, a leader here in Bavel is called a Shevet, whereas Eretz Yisrael is called a Mechaykek, a legislator. Kedetanya, as we learned that the Brayso also Shevet Yehuda. What does that refer to? Elu Rashi Galuyos. This refers to the Reish Galuyos Shebachol Shebavel, Sheroidin Yisrael Be Shevet. That what do? They rule over Klal Yisrael with a rod. Continues the pasuk of Machaykim B'Bein Raglayim Elu B'nei Banav Shel Hillel Shablav Netav Rabbim. This they teach Torah Be Rabbim. Mehasam la'achamai. But the shaila is, what if someone has rishus in Eretz Yisrael to judge cases? Is he allowed to judge them here in Bavel? The fact that he got rishus for the Nasi in Eretz Yisrael help him here in Bavel. Says the Gemara, Tashema, smack him the first one in line, the Rabbi Rachana, Dandina Vita. And what do we prove from this story? What do we see? We see that even though he had Rishos in Eretz Yisrael, he had to get a Rishos again over here. Shema Mina. That is a conclusive raya. But says Gemara, why? V'loi mahani. His rishus by a nasi in Eretz Yisrael not enough for Bavel v'Rabbi Rav Huna. K'avei minsi b'hadadi. B'hadei devei Reish Galusa. But the Rabbi Rav Huna, when he argued with those in the Reish Galusa Amar, he would say, La minaychu nakita rishusa. I did not get rishus from you that I have to listen to you. Nakitna rishusa me Abba Mari. Who did I get rishus from? Abba Mari. Abba Mari me Rav. Rav me Rechia. Rechia me Rabbi. That's the progressions. What do we see? We see that even when you got, actually not even, that if you got Rishus in Eretz Yisrael, you do not now have to get Rishus in Bavel. You're not subordinate to Reish Galusa. So the Rishus there is enough. Answers the Gemara, B'milsa da'alma hu da'aikim lehu. Rabbi Abuna, stop them with these words, B'milsa da'alma. But guess what? He really was subordinate to Reish Galusa in that story. Ask the Gemara, but if it's not enough for the Nasi in Eretz Yisrael to help you in Bavel, Rabbi Rachana Rishusa Ninaka Lamali. Why did Rabbi Rachana get Rishus Bechlal? If he's going to Bavel and the Rishus in Eretz Yisrael doesn't do anything for you, why did he get that? Answers the Gemara La Yarais Ha'imdin Ala Gvulin. He got it. Why? For the cities on the border of Eretz Yisrael, that's what it would work for. Says the Gemara, my Rishusa. So what was the story with Rabbi Rachana? What Rishus did he take? Kavinaches Rabbi Rachana leBavel. He's going to Bavel. Rav Chia leRabbi ben Achi leBavel. My brother's son is going to Bavel. Yaira Yadin Yadin. And of course, the famous words that we know, we call Smicha. Yaira, is he allowed to give halachic decisions? Rabbi said, Yaira, yes. Yadin as Rav Chia. Can he educate money cases? Yadin, yes he can. Yatir b'chayrais. Can he bake a bachar mutter? Can he make it? Can he permit a bachar yatir? He is allowed. That was the story. Similarly, Kavinachas Rav leBavel and Rav keep the Bavel. Amli Rav Chia l'Rebbe ben Achuti Yair leBavel. Yaira, yes he can. Yadin monetary. Yadin he can. Yatir b'chayrais al yatir. But he cannot matter up b'chayris. Says the Gemara, Ma'ishna lamar de kakari ben achi, Ma'ishna lamar de kakari ben achaysi. Before we even get to what happened, but why was Rabbi Rachana my brother's son, whereas Rav my sister's son? Maybe you're going to say because kacha, that was the story. It says Amar bar Evo v'chana Shilo Marta Rav Chia kulu b'nei Abba bar Achi, they're all brothers. So what's going on over here? Baracha Karsalami Kafri Avi. Oh, brother Baracha Karsli from Kafri. So what is the reason that Rav and Rav were the sons and Rav Chia is the son of the sister? Answers the Gemara, Rav Barachua Avi Bar Achti. Rav was the son of Rav Chia's brother as well as the son of his sister. Rav Barachana Barachua Delavar Achti. He was only the son of the brother, but not of the sister, and that's why he got the special title of son of the brother, but really, it is the same. Viba Yisema, second teretz, as we turn over to Hey Amid base, says the Gemara, what's the second teretz? Al Shev Chachmasai. He's called his sister's son. Why? Because of his chachma. What is that? Says the Gemara T'chsev. The pasuk says, "Emar lachacham." What do you tell the chacham? Achai siyad, you're my sister. So that's the reason why he refers to him as the sister, because of his incredible chachma. Says the Gemara, Yatir b'chayres al yatir. What do we say? He cannot be matir b'chayres. My time, what's the reason? Ilay mishad d'lo chacham. That's smart enough. Kamrinan de chacham tuva. El mishad d'lo b'kiya b'mumi. Masi, he didn't know he wasn't a baki in the different movement. What's the shayla? Amar 5 lines down. Shmona chadashim gedalti itzel raya behima. For 18 months, I grew up amongst the herdsmen. So he clearly did know. Says the reason is to give kavod to Rabbi Rav Chana. V'ibay sema second teretz misham hagufei de Rav. What's the reason? Misham hagufei. Because Rav was so knowledgeable in this matter. The Rav Bakir of Muvi Tfei, he was such a baki. Vishari Mumi. And if he had the Rishos, he would be Mekel to Loyadi Inchi. And he would be Mekel in a way that people were not familiar. V'amrin, you know what's going to happen? People are going to say about a different Bechar. Ki Agam Shari Rav, like this Rav was Mekel Aslam Mishi Mum. Oiver, and he'll come to make a mum mutter, which of course is always the difficulty. And any psak, and any time one is going to be mekel, you always have to be concerned, as you see from the Gemara here so clearly. Will this be applied to other cases? Continues the Gemara, Yaira. So Rav Chia asked Rabbi, can he render monetary cases in Yaira? He said, yeah. Igamar Shos Lamali. So ask the Gemara, Igamir, if he's a Talmud Chacham or Shos Lamali Lemishkal. So why does he have to take Rishos? Answers the Gemara, Mishamaisa Shahayo. Titani learned in a Bryce. Rabbi went to a place. What did he see? Rabbi goes somewhere. He was saying, that they were needing their dough and tama. Why are you doing that? They responded, Talmud Echad Balikan. There was a Talmud that came here. And knew what he taught us. Waters of the marsh do not make a food makabel tama. So they erroneously thought that there's no problem of tama in this case. Ask the Gemara, Veho, May Beitzim. Really, what he meant to say is May Beitzim doesn't make something tamei. Darsh Lahu. Darsh, that's what he meant to say. They thought maybe the same kamar. May Bitzaim, marsh water. Betau Nami Baha. They also made a tais that what says the Mishnah Mi Karmiya Inumi Piga Besulin. The waters of the Carmian River, the waters of the Figa River are possible from making something tar. Why? Because they are. I lost my place. Because they are marsh waters. The Inusavar. So the people thought that when Rabbi was visiting with Gabe Chatos Psili, if they're possible for Chatos, they thought it doesn't have its shame liquid, so it can't be Machshir, anything else to be Kabul Tumba, but says where it's not true, Valahi, Hasalini Chatos, being in Mayim Chaim, it's Dafka Din of Chatos, Hachashiri called to Achshir, whereas by us, we don't need Mayim Chaim, we just have to make the item prepared, make the item wet, and that'll be Makabul Tumba, which of course it would, yes, be able to. And we conclude, Tana, we learned in a Raisa Baisa Shah that moment. Kazu Talmud al Yaira. At that moment, what happened? One Talmud al Yaira Elim Kino to Rishos Rabbi. Because of this story, they said a Talmud is not able to paskin shaylos unless he takes Rishos from his Rabbi. And one last story, Tanchum Bered Ravimi, Tanchum, the son of Ravimi, Yikloi lechotar. He went to Chotar, Darsh lehu, and he darshed in the following. Mutter lil Toys chitin bePesach, and his mutter soak wheat on Pesach. V'amrulai lav Ramani. The minsur ikachi was Ramani from Sur, not over here. What? Utanya, we learned in the Brisa, Talmud al Yaira alacha b'makayim Rabbi. You can't ask in the vicinity of one's Rabbi. Shalish parsais. Elam king. Hayrachim imenu shalish parsais. Keneged Machi Yisrael, which corresponds to the size of the Kamen of Klai. So Amrlo Lav Adaitoi. I was not aware that Rav Mani was here. That's why he thought he was able to paskin. And one last story, Rav Chia Chazi Lahu Gavra. Rav Chia saw a certain person that was Lahu Gavra David Kabais. He's in the cemetery. Amrlei Lavinish Ploni Kayinata. You're not a Kayin Amrlei in. Yes. However, the father, my father was a person with raised eyes. He set his eyes on a divorced woman and disqualified the son from kahuna. And that's the reason why he was standing here in a cemetery. A kohen, of course, cannot marry a grusha. And if he does, the child is a chalal, which does not have kedusha as kahuna. And that's the reason over here he's saying he doesn't have kedusha. That's why he's in the cemetery due to the actions of his father, Pick it up from here, B'siyata Dishmaya.